Hello, hello, fam. It is great to be with you on another Thursday evening, at least here where I am. Hold on. Good to see that YouTube is working, and it seems that sound is working, but you can let me know in the chat for all of you joining me live if you can hear me okay, and I can see my journal, so hopefully you all can see it as well. Welcome to another monthly journaling hangout as part of the monthly journaling club. I'm so glad you are here as we prepare to document another month together. If you are new, my name is Kelsey Lee, and the Monthly Journaling Club is a free community in which we get together once a month and we document our lives. It looks a little something like this when you're all done after a year, and it is so much fun, and it's a time to be creative. It's a time to hang out, give yourself just a moment for yourself to look back on the month and think about your highs and your lows, all that you accomplished, all that you got to experience, and make sure that those memories are captured and are ones that you can look back on forever by having them in your journal. And of course, the best thing about monthly journaling, in my opinion, is frankly the fact that it is doable. I think for the average person, right, sometimes the idea of daily journaling or even journaling on a weekly basis can be really overwhelming. And the idea of just sitting down once a month, but still getting to capture so many memories. I mean, 1 month and you have so many memories on the page, even though all you're having to do is journal one time. And the whole concept, right, of doing this once a month and being able to do it with a busy schedule is very plain to see on the January entry that we did last time we got together, because as you can see, it looks pretty similar to when we finished. If you happen to join me during that session, I still have some blank spaces. And frankly, this page could work fine without filling out the rest, but believe it or not, I just haven't had a second this last month to sit down and go back after our live stream ended to fill in just some of the little journaling that I want to do. There's like one or two other memories that I don't think are captured yet on the page. So hopefully I have a few days off coming up beyond this weekend, and I'm gonna sit down and make sure that this gets done. It is on my to-do list. But the nice thing is, because it's just 1 month on one page, I'm not overwhelmed by the idea of having to quote unquote catch up. It'll be very easy to catch up because there's not much to do so. And even though this isn't quite finished, we can still move on and document the next month. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be documenting February on my next spread here. And if you are completely new, I have videos that cover what journal I'm using, the whole concept of monthly journaling. So I would encourage you to go and watch some of those if this is the first time that you're being introduced to the idea of monthly journaling and the Monthly Journaling Club. Check out some of my more recent videos about that. This is a Dingbat B5, just because I know I always get that question. And I went ahead and got most of my materials ready to go. So I have some few items that I think I'll want to use on this page. I have the February stickers. Each month we design new stickers together as part of our community over on Patreon to use in our journals. Last year, all of the monthly sticker kits were themed after the month. So there's an entire sticker kit. This is just the sample sheet. The sample sheet from the full kit. There's 3 full pages for each month, but I had this left over, so I thought I might want to use it for this entry. I, of course, printed out my photos. I always do this with my Pic Collage app on my phone, And I do have this linked in the description if you want to use the same app. It was free when I got it. It may cost $1 or something like that, but super helpful for taking all of your photos you want to highlight from the month and arranging them into a collage. So then you can print it out as a single photo and then cut them out so that you get multiple photos in one. And then I have my stickers for this month because over on Patreon, we are designing sticker sheets that are going to be basically bucket lists to inspire us every single month. And my patrons are helping to design these and coming up with so many fun things for us to try and do each month. So this is the February bucket list that we created together. And so the idea is that once we do these things, we can then use these illustrations and stickers in our review page and check them off. So I have a few that I'm going to check off from this month, and actually also one or two that I didn't do in January but did get done in February, like decluttering. So I'm gonna put those on this page too. And I did want to share that the March bucket list is now available, so you can head over to Patreon and print this out and use this as inspiration for this month of what you want to do. There's a lot of really fun ones like meeting a friend for coffee or a cup of tea. I'm actually going to be checking this off tomorrow and getting a coffee with some friends. Spring cleaning is definitely something I want to do this month. Spotting the first signs of spring, at least here in Pennsylvania. Crocuses are usually the first sign, and they usually happen in March, so I did use that as my illustration. Visit a little free library. I think that's super fun. There is one actually just a block or two over from me, so I might have to make sure I do that. Something for St. Patty's Day, which is baking a loaf of Irish soda bread. I always make corned beef for St. Patty's Day, so I'm definitely going to be doing that as well. But one, corned beef I don't think makes the most pretty illustration, so that's one of the reasons I didn't go with that. But also, I just thought this would be a fun challenge to myself to do something, an extra step, and make some Irish soda bread. Go thrifting would be super fun. I love this idea. This was one of my patrons who suggested the idea of doing a photo walk, basically taking your camera around the neighborhood or a local wildlife area and just capturing photos of what stands out to you and what is, you know, really beautiful in your eye. And this sticker is actually our freebie and our challenge for the month. So every month we're picking one of these items from our bucket list to be a free sticker available to everybody and also a challenge to everybody to try and complete. And this is your challenge for March. So I hope that you're excited to check off some of these going forward. But for now, we are going to be documenting what we did last month, which of course is February. So I am going to start by actually putting my month in the corner. Already dropping things, so we're off to a good start. As you saw previous years, this was 2023, and in 2024 I put my titles for the month in the center, but this year trying something a little different and putting them in the corners, and I designed these month stickers to do that, so these are available on Patreon as well. Just want to say hi to everybody who's hanging out in the chat. Try and scroll back here before I lose track of everything. So as I'm cutting this out, I'll say hello to Sandra and Angela. Welcome, Penny. You can hear Jeannie scratching behind me, her collar. Melissa is here. Belinda, always good to see you guys. The Alma, I see your question about the printable for February. So yes, that is the bucket list, or you can also access and purchase the full February kit from last year. All of those stickers pretty much would still apply and be able to be used this year too. They're pretty evergreen in that respect. And they are available for purchase in my digital shop, or if you become a member on the Abiding Hope tier and up, you get full access to all of the sticker kits. So you definitely get the most bang for your buck if you become a member. And you can join and cancel at any time. So I would encourage you to go that route if you're interested, but if you want to just purchase them singly, you can do that too. Hi, April. I don't know if I said hi to you. I think I did already, but hello again. You're always very active in the chat, so that's always super fun to see. Caroline is here. And we have Bree. So glad you are here. And you're very welcome for your Happy Meal. I'm so glad you got it. For those of you who don't know, my highest tier on Patreon is a tier in which I actually send Happy Mail to my patrons on that tier. Basically, Happy Mail is a handwritten letter from me thanking them for their support, and it's a little package of goodies basically from my own journaling stash. I've shared lots of hauls here on my channel, as you will likely have seen, and I'm, when you're doing YouTube, you get a lot of things from different journaling shops. Like Obujo is one of my favorites. I have lots of items from them. I have tons of scrapbooking items and stuff just from my mom because she was a big scrapbooker. So I just have a lot of stuff, and frankly, there's no way that I could ever use everything that is in my collection. So Happy Mail is my way of being able to share those goodies with others and pass them on for other people to use, and just curate nice little packages of some really beautiful supplies so that others can use them too. And it's so fun. It's available for US and internationally. So even if you're an international patron, as long as your country can get mail with international stamps, I can still send you Happy Mail. And if you're on that tier, you get Happy Mail when you first sign up. And then as long as you continue to be on that tier, I continue to send Happy Mail to you every January and July. So that's, I will say I was a little bit late. I was a few weeks late getting this last round of Happy Mail, but everybody who was on in January got the Happy Mail for being part of the members. So fun to get to interact with you guys in that way. I really love putting together the Happy Mail for my patrons who choose to support at that level. And of course, being on that tier, you get access to absolutely everything on Patreon too. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Bree. I'm so glad you are part of this community too. Candace, the photo printer, so I have an at-home printer that is an Epson 8500. It's an EcoTank printer, and that is what I now use to print out my photos as well as my stickers. It is definitely more of an investment in terms of printers, so I always kind of put that caveat if you're interested in looking into it. You definitely want to make sure that it's what makes sense for you and the amount of printing that you do. It's basically the EcoTank printers are more of an investment up front, but they will save you money in the long run, because I will tell you, I've had this printer for I think more than 2 years now at this point, and obviously with my Patreon and printing all these printables and printing photos all the time, I print a ton, and I've never replaced the ink from the first time that I filled it. And I'm looking at the ink wells right now, and only one of them, which is probably, I guess, the black ink, only one is under the halfway point at this stage. So it really does, like when they say EcoTank, They are not kidding. It is so amazing how much you will save on ink and just really high quality prints, though I will say I was a little frustrated because I think I just need to clean my print heads. Actually, I think it might not even be the print heads. I think it's because this photo paper was a little bent when I put it in, and so you can see there's like a line here in the photo. So I think it's my fault. I think this is user error that this line happened because I think there was a bend in the paper. But other than that, typically really quality prints that I get from this printer. I do have it linked in my Amazon storefront if you want to check it out. It's linked in the description. And what was I saying? Oh, I also wanted to mention, before I had the Epson EcoTank printer that prints photos and printables and anything else that you want to print very nicely. It's really high quality for like art prints and stuff too. Before that, I had a Canon Selfie, and the Canon Selfie served me well for many years, just as a standalone photo printer. So if I was to recommend a photo printer, I think that one is the most economical choice because you can print 4x6s on the Canon Selfie and do the collage route that I showed you, where you know, make a collage so that you get multiple photos on one photo. Whereas if you get one of the other kind of handheld photo printers that are popular, I can't even think of what some of them are called. A lot of times they print 2x3 photos and they'll have like a sticky back, which, while yes, is convenient to just peel it off and stick it on your page, the photo paper costs a lot and the ink costs a lot for those printers that I personally don't find that they are worth it in the long run unless you're just using them sparingly. But if you're trying to print a lot of things, I don't think those photo printers make a whole ton of sense. Bree, I see your question. You're asking about, did I have a page leading into 2025? And yes, we actually created this page. It's here on my channel if you want to go back and watch it. This was what we did as our launch party for 2025 for the monthly journaling club. So I do always like to have a page. Oh no, my 4 ran away. Well, let's put that back. So I always like to have, I'll have to get some real glue for that, and 2024 or year wrap up page. And then I like to have a page that leads into the next year before jumping in to my monthlies. And so this is what I created for that, basically just a title page. This, by the way, the 2025 is another freebie over on Patreon. There's lots of freebies that you get access to when you become a free member. So you can join for completely free. It's a great way to stay in touch with our community, always get notified when my new videos are put out and when I'm sharing a freebie for you. So highly recommend that. But basically, yes, I just had a nice little cover page, and then another thing that I plan to do on my little break that I'm taking for spring break coming up is I'm going to fill out finally my 2025 and write in my big goal, talk about my word of the year. I'm going to put a photo of me at my current age and start of 2025. And then in here, I'm going to write a little note to my future self. So that is how I basically set myself up going into 2025. And I hope that when you see the fact that I haven't gone back and filled this in, my January is not completely done, that it is a reminder to yourself to give yourself grace and to understand that you have to live life first and documenting it comes second. And it's okay if you fall a little bit behind, if you didn't finish the page perfectly, whatever it is, right? Just give yourself grace because it's okay. And even those of us with YouTube channels about journaling find it hard sometimes to sit down and do the journaling. So I'm glad though that we are here together and we're gonna all get some journaling in right now. Okay, so I cut out some of my February bucket list items that I was able to check off this month, and now I'm gonna go and cut out my photos for some of the big items that happened. So basically there were two big main events, I would say, for February in my world. The first one that happened is what I'm going to be using for the Shower Someone in Love sticker, which this actually was the freebie for February. So anybody who is watching this can head over to my Patreon, become a free member, and print this one out. But what I did in February to shower someone in love is I actually planned my best friend's Bachelorette hangout session. So we had a whole wonderful day in Philadelphia, and I'm so excited to get to document what we did. So basically, I arranged this whole day, and we started by going to a really lovely brunch at a place called Soraya, I believe, in Philly. If you've never been there or are near Philly at all, highly recommend. It's a Lebanese restaurant, I believe, and the food was absolutely fantastic. So we had this amazing brunch there. I had a real Lebanese chai, which is what this photo is, and this chai was so good, and you can see it was so beautiful too. They put like rose petals, like these dried rose petals in the corner. It was so pretty. So we had a very nice time, and it was all of my like old high school friends too, so it was so fun to get to connect with many of them and catch up. They're all ones that I've generally stayed in touch with because we all have stayed friends, but it was just nice to have that time together. So I'm probably also going to use that experience for the talk to an old friend sticker. So after our brunch, we then went thrift shopping for a little bit before our main event, which was this really cool thing that I found in Philly, which is called Secret Circus. And basically what you do is you just get to like sign up and say you want to take this Secret Circus class, and it's a real place where like real circus people, like people who do the acrobatic elements of circus. So people who do like the hoop, like you see in this photo, the like hoop thing. It's called a lyre. I can't never remember how you say it, but it's Lyre. And then also the silks. So this is me, if you can see, with my great form on some silks. Now, I purposefully cropped this to make it look like I was high in the air. I was about 6 inches off the ground, so don't let this fool you. They didn't really let us get any height, though I would have personally enjoyed getting to go a little bit higher. But it was so much fun, and it was just like an hour-and-a-half session of this really nice trainer teaching us just different, basically beginner level, steps to how they go about training and doing these different moves and kind of acrobatic positions on these different apparatuses. So it was just so much fun and just a really unique experience. So we had a ton of fun, and it was really affordable too. If you're in the Philly area, they also do like birthday parties and things like that. And you can do it like younger, or if you're, like we're all in our early 30s. So actually I'm 30. I feel like I'm gonna own just being 30 for a little bit longer because I turned 31 at the end of this month. So I have about 3 more weeks that I can say I'm 30 instead of saying I'm in my 30s. So I'm gonna own that. But yes, it is basically any ages can go and do it, and you can do it as a bachelorette get together, you can do it as a birthday party, and it was only $35 a person, which I personally thought was really rather affordable, because I feel like you can't even take like a normal yoga class or like gym experience for that price. So I was quite happy with it, and it was a lot of fun and just really unique. So would recommend. And I see Janie is saying that her daughter also does silks. Yes. Oh my goodness. So true. Janie said that her daughter has gotten so strong, and it is, I definitely took away from the experience that I have 10 times, 100 times more respect for anybody who does those kinds of acrobatics, because I knew that it required a lot of strength to do what they do, but until you try and do like the most basic things yourself, you don't quite realize how much it takes. Like you basically are doing like a pull up, just trying to get yourself up on the silk. And the lyre or lear or however you pronounce it, we all kind of remarked that like there should be a cushioned version, because the way that you sit on the lyre, like if you're doing, the one move was called a mermaid, and so you kind of like leaned back through it and stretched out your arms, and it would dig so deep into like your hip bone. It really was actually quite painful. So just like those things too. And the woman who was training us and giving us our lesson, basically she joked that she doesn't have nerve endings in her hip anymore, where the apparatus, you know, basically hits her when she's doing her different moves. So yeah, definitely lots more respect for just how strong those women are who do that. How is my... I swear I just replaced this blade, and I feel like it's already feathering again. So anyways, that was a very long discussion of Secret Circus. Oh, my ear's doing something weird. It's like just a weird ringing. After that, we went back to her house because she lives kind of in the suburbs of Philly, and then there we were able to just hang out, order pizza, and then our next activity was doing, I don't know if some of you have seen on Instagram or wherever, the challenge of trying to draw like a friend or your partner. So you kind of each get a canvas and have so many, you know, maybe like 30 minutes to draw the person or paint the person opposite of you. And of course it's hysterical because none of us are very good artists. You know, you guys might think I'm a good artist, but when it comes to painting a portrait, definitely not. Like I am not one. You'll know from my, let me find, where is the last one I did? March. Yeah. You will know from my printables that I never put faces on the girls. Pretty much ever. Why, you ask? Because I can't draw faces. So I don't even try. So all that to say, we all were very bad at drawing during our painting each other, but it was so much fun, and we just had so many laughs at the final results of everybody's portraits. And then our final activity that evening, we fit a lot into one day. We were all very tired. Our final activity was actually creating a scrapbook, which you all would very much appreciate. So I actually brought a ton of just random supplies from my own, working here at home, scrapbooking supplies, and got her a nice little scrapbook and some craft paper inserts and printed out a ton of our photos from high school because so many of our photos from that time are just on Facebook. They don't really live anywhere. So I thought it would be really fun to spend the evening taking all of our high school photos and making a scrapbook for my friend who we were celebrating. And so that's what we did. We created a really cute scrapbook for her to be able to look back on and remember all of her time with her friends, some of them being cute and sentimental and some being funny and cringeworthy. It was just, yeah, ton of fun. So we had a great weekend. It was awesome, but also was also glad when it was over, just because it was a lot leading up to it and planning it. And so it was kind of like a sigh of relief, like, whew, we did it. It was a success. We can check that one off and be happy that it went well. So that's what all of these photos are from. So I'm probably going to have like a little corner that, and maybe what I'll do is I'll like put this over this so that it covers up where we had that streak from the printer issue. And then I'll just make like a nice little collage of them. Maybe this should go here for order. Just be like that. And then this is the Secret Circus. And then this is our painting experience. So I think I'll focus on getting this down on the page, and then we'll come back to all of these photos are from another ice climbing adventure. So document those next. And all right, I think I'm just gonna glue these down and then we will plan out the next steps from there, rather than putting too much thought. Hi, Vernita, good to see you. So I would love to hear from you all in the chat what one of your highlights from February was that you are excited to be documenting. And I would also love to know what you were able to check off from the bucket list for February and what you're going to be documenting from the bucket list. So be sure to let me know in the live chat, or if you're watching this afterward, you can leave a comment sharing what you were able to do this February from the bucket list. And remember, the goal is not necessarily to check everything off, but just to use it as a way to inspire you through the month and, aim to get 1 or 2 items just to keep life interesting and motivate you. February was definitely, with planning this trip and then having another trip, just really busy. So those weekends were booked, and then my last weekend of February was our board meeting for work, and there was something else the other weekend of February. Oh, a birthday party for a friend's son. So no, I lied. It was her daughter. Her daughter. But anyways, the point is, it was one of those months where we did not have a single free weekend to catch up on anything. So I definitely just felt a little bit overwhelmed at times. And certainly you can see that reflected in the fact that I've gotten behind in some of the journaling that I wanted to do, and the fact that I haven't yet published, though it's going to be coming soon, the March kit, which is in addition to the March bucket list, every month I also am creating a themed kit based on a theme that my patrons pick. And last month they picked the theme Goal Getter. So this was the Goal Getter kit for February. So if you're interested in all of these fun stickers, like working out and just getting your goals and work done, that is available. But this month the theme is everyday tasks, and I'm really excited to share it with you. It's going to be a super fun one and definitely a super useful one. I know I will get a ton of use out of it. But typically I like to try and publish them in like the first week of the month. But again, we're just a little bit behind. Oh no, we got some glue over there. That's okay. We'll be able to cover it up with something else. So all that to say, it is coming, I promise. Oh, I'm glad you were able to hang out with us for a bit. Definitely go spend time with family. That is what is most important in life, I will always say. Okay, let me put this talk to an old friend. Even though it wasn't on the phone, I'm just going to leave the phone illustration because I think it's cute. Oh, that's so great. You celebrated 36 years with your husband. That is a fantastic thing to celebrate. Speaking of, sorry, I feel like sometimes these live streams just sound like a Patreon ad because I have so many printables that I'm constantly like, oh, I have a printable for that. I have a printable for that. So I do apologize, but I do have a printable for that. And this actually is another freebie, so I did just want to mention it. This is the annual celebrations freebie that you get access to when you become a free member. And this has a happy anniversary sticker and anniversary dinner on it. It also has some birthday stickers. So I actually got this out to use because I might use like the party time sticker for that birthday party that I mentioned. So if you're interested for celebrating your 36 years, you could use that printable. Jeannie had a romantic Valentine's dinner. I'm glad you got to talk to an old friend and had a movie night and tried a new soup recipe. You got to check a ton off from the list. That is awesome. I can't tell you how much it warms my heart to see how the bucket lists really are inspiring you all to just make the most of your months and your time. And I said at the beginning of this year that 2025, the goal is making this a year to remember and making every month a month to remember by being able to be inspired to check off, items that maybe we wouldn't have thought to have done without that little nudge. And it just makes me so happy to see that it's actually helping you all to do that. Oh, that's wonderful, Dawn, that you were able to have that breakthrough. So that is fantastic. I do have, again, the Patreon ad. The It's Okay to Not Be Okay collection would be a really good one to look at to document that experience with your therapist, because In that kit, there's actually a illustration of a woman talking to a therapist. By the way, I'm drinking a nice Waterloo sparkling water. It's called All Day Rosé, but it is non-alcoholic, and so it's just a nice little treat for myself. Decided to do this instead of tea tonight, so I always love hearing what you guys are drinking or snacking on too, if you want to share. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done that, and I think maybe debating. I could use like a, I don't know, I'm thinking like a block sticker. I want to cover this up before I touch it anymore, basically, because I just have a feeling I'm going to keep wiping the glue on my hand. So it would be great to use some kind of sticker for there. So I'm just trying to pull out I have some sticker books I'm looking through. I'm looking for one in particular that has, here it is, maybe this one. I'm thinking of like a color block. I know I have some in my own stickers too, but this would just be nice and easy to just put like a strip down that I could do some journaling on. So this one could be nice for February with the pink. It's a little brighter than I typically go for. I mean, all of these are a little brighter than I typically go for, but maybe we'll do that. Maybe, does this one feel more circusy? So I'm thinking, yeah, we could just put that there. So then we cover up that glue spot I got on the page. And then I can just journal about kind of this experience a little bit, which would be nice. Now I do have now a little bit awkward of a strip here that there might not be quite enough room for certain things to document. So it might be a spot for some washi tape or something like that, but I got something else on the page. There we go. So I think I want to write maybe the restaurant name in here, and then maybe like the Secret Circus down here. I did just get some of my new, I already knew about these, but my one that I had was dried up, so I just got a new Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen, which is probably my favorite brush pen for hand lettering and brush lettering. Highly recommend. Just sorry, I'm looking back through your comments. Belinda, I think you were asking if my all-day rosé tastes good, and it is pretty good. You know, it tastes like most sparkling waters that, you know, personally, I think some people like really love sparkling waters, and I like them, but I'm a little bit more in the camp of it kind of tastes like somebody like spit the essence of a flavor into them, and it doesn't actually taste that that strong of anything. So that is my take. But if you like sparkling waters in general, then I would say that this is a pretty good flavor of sparkling water. But similar to most sparkling waters, it's not a very strong flavor. And I see Marie is having a nice glass of milk and a PB and honey sandwich. That sounds quite delightful, I have to say. Yeah, I'm so glad that the journaling, right, also informs your life and encourages you to try things because it gets you excited about getting to document it later. It's so true. All right, I'm gonna bring you down a little bit so you can see better. So that we can write, let me make sure I get the name of the restaurant correct. That's always important. Okay, it is called Soraya, and they actually have kind of a nice cursive font that they use on the side of their building. So I'm going to try my best to replicate that. There you go, Soraya. Yeah, that actually looks pretty similar to what it looks like. Restaurant and garden. Debating what I want to write here. Maybe I'll just say Lebanese. So Lebanese brunch. All right, so we have that, and then Secret Circus. So Secret Circus Philly Aerial Sports Center is what it's called, and it too kind of has. I was mad at myself because they had stickers that they were selling, and I told myself when we went in, remember to buy a sticker, and I totally forgot when we left. So I could have had a really fun sticker to use to document Secret Circus, but alas, I forgot, and so I do not have it. So what I could try and do instead is to replicate their interesting, it's kind of like a very, almost like sloppy, a little bit, handwritten font that they use for their logo. So I'm gonna try again to replicate that. If I had thought ahead too, I could have downloaded the photo of their logo and added it to my photos that I printed, but again, I wasn't thinking, so we're just gonna try and replicate it. Do I want to replicate it? I'm not, kind of afraid I'm not going to do a good job, and then it's just going to look like my own sloppy handwriting instead of a replication of their sort of wonky, sloppy looking logo. I wish I could show you a photo of it so that you understood what I was saying. Actually, I guess I can. I have it's on my laptop, so I'll just, see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, like, I could replicate it, but I feel like it wouldn't turn out the way that I wanted to. So maybe we'll just write in a more normal font. Secret. Maybe what I'll do is I'll write secret here. And then I think it would be fun to use maybe some alpha stickers to write out circus. Or I could do stamps too. But I think I want it to be bigger than the stamps I have, so, or you know what or how many times can I say or with all my ideas flooding my head? I could, where is it? I was gonna use my these ones, the Allie Brown stamps that I have, instead of the little individual blocks. These ones are more, a little bit bigger, and when I went through my spreads from last year in my flip through of my 2024 month in review journaling, which is available here on the channel if you want to see in depth me talk about all of these spreads from last year. You can go and watch that. But when I was going back through those spreads, I remember saying on the one spread how I really liked the look of using these stamps, and then I colored them in, and I made a mental note that, oh, I should try that again. I really liked the way that looked. So here we are replicating it. If I can open this package, which is proving more difficult than necessary. Okay, I definitely just ripped it. There we go. Okay, so let's get our letters for the word circus. C. I. R. And then we'll have to move our C again, I guess. I'll just put it here so that we know. And just look at your chat. So Penny, you had a really nice movie marathon with Jurassic Park. That's awesome. And Alma made a Super Bowl birthday cake to cheer him up. Aww. And the football was a cough drop. That's so funny. That's really sweet. So that sounds like your shower somebody with love example. And Penny, yours is obviously for the movie night. And I have my movie night here, which I'm going to use to document starting, we didn't finish, but we started our movie marathon of Lord of the Rings. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping this weekend that we can actually continue that, because we just love it so much, and it was on my list to do because we just finished, or I just finished reading all of the Lord of the Rings books. So I have Return of the King. It's kind of hard to see, but here in my month in review of my wrap up from the Storygraph app with what books I read. And so The Return of the King was my last one, and I finished that. Highly recommend the Andy Serkis audiobook versions where he narrates. What am I doing? I can't think straight. I just opened this and then closed it again without ever stamping. Okay, focus. So, yeah, the Andy Serkis audiobooks are absolutely fantastic. If you've never read Lord of the Rings and want to, I think that's a great way to do it. Okay, concentrate. Let's try and get a nice stamp. Ah, lovely. Look at that. All right, now we just need to set these to the side so I can clean them off, which is the only thing I hate about stamping. But we have to do keep our C on, and we will get that inked again. Nice. So yeah, I definitely think this looks better than had I tried to replicate the logo of Secret Circus. But that is definitely something to think about when you are planning what you're going to journal about, is not only thinking about photos that you took from events and things that you were doing, but also to think about, you know, the places you went, books you read, a movie you watched, and think about images that you might want to use to represent those things. So that could be the book cover, it could be a scene from the movie or a meme about the movie, it could be the logo from a restaurant or from a place you went, a business card, right? So there might be different images like that you can find on the internet and add to your collage that you then can print out and use to document something, even if you don't have like a photo of you actually watching the movie. You still could document it by having a photo of the movie cover. So I always recommend thinking about those things as well before you print out your photos. So I really like how this turned out. I'm gonna think a little bit longer on if I want to color this in, and if so, what colors I want to use, because I think it may depend on what else ends up on the page. But I think this is headed in a pretty nice direction. So now I feel like this little section needs like a title. I could stamp again, but I don't know if I want to stamp again. Because I was gonna say, I could say like celebrate Michelle, who's my friend who's getting married. Maybe what I'll do, this is just me trying to have the least letters in what I stamp. How did I lose the stamping block in that amount of time? Did I put it away? Come What did I do with it? Where is it? Does anybody else have this problem when you're journaling? It's like things just disappear in piles on your desk. It's like, what did I do with that thing? I literally don't know. And also it's clear, so it just like blends in. It's gone. It disappeared. I cannot find it. What the heck? I'm so confused. I truly don't know where it went. Oh, I found it. I found it. Oh my goodness. Wow. I like sat it behind my computer somehow. One of those like putting something down without thinking at all situations. I'm glad that the chat is all affirming that I'm not the only one. Thank you. Ay. Okay, so I was saying that this is going to be a let's stamp out the thing with the fewest letters. That makes sense because I just hate writing out long things and then having to, you know, reuse the same letter and move things around. So we're just going to write Mrs. Or maybe I'll do Miss to Mrs. Though then that is actually longer. That's just as long as any of the words I would have written, but I think that could be cute though, because I could put Mrs. here in the corner. Yes, I agree. It's usually my scissors or tape that I lose too. Or the phone. Yeah, Marie, definitely the phone. I have to say, having an Apple Watch, the best thing about it is the Find My Phone. I use the Find My Phone on my Apple Watch all the time. It is so nice. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna write Mrs. for our Bachelorette weekend. So it's kind of nice. This is almost acting like its own like scrapbook page dedicated to this specific event. I'm kind of tempted to even like box it off with washi tape, almost like its own page on the page. I actually think that could be pretty cute. Okay, so now I'm gonna write Miss Miss to Mrs. So let's think. There's like a nice washi that would be good for that. This one is pretty, but maybe it's too busy. This pink floral one is a nice, definitely has some pretty nice February Valentine's Day vibes. Oops, sorry, I just realized you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm thinking if I do that there, though I definitely just put that on pretty much not straight. Okay. So I'm going to create like a frame around this section of the page, just for something different than what we've done in the past. Just a nice way to make it stand on its own and really pop on the page, because it makes the whole section have some nice emphasis. And then the other things that happen in the month I can kind of put around this highlight. And then what I think I'll do is I'll do the same thing on the other side. With my ice climbing trip to the Adirondacks, I'll create a little focal point collage and then box it off with a washi on that side too. So this could be a fun thing to try on your own pages, especially when you're working in a bigger journal. Actually boxing something off like this can just almost make it feel like you're working with a smaller space. So you could even do that in advance, you know, box off 3 sections and fill them in with specific categories of information. Yeah, I think that turned out pretty cute. So I think we'll say like Bachelorette weekend up here. Let's make sure that we are saying Bachelorette. I know how to spell it, but whenever I'm writing something out slowly, which is what I do when I'm hand lettering, I inevitably miss a letter. So we're just going to make sure. You'll notice when I'm hand lettering that I pause after each letter. I think sometimes when people are first starting out hand lettering, they mistakenly think that because it's usually in a cursive font, that means that you should never pick up your pen and that you're supposed to just keep it flowing. But it's actually the opposite. You want to stop after every stroke, pick up your pen, and think for a moment about whether your next stroke is a downstroke or an upstroke. And if it's a downstroke, that's when you're going to press harder to have a thicker line. And when it's an upstroke, that is when you're going to be a little bit lighter in your touch and then be able to have a more fine line. So in this case, I paused after the E, and I'm going to do a light upstroke for part of the L, and then paused, and now a hard downstroke for the rest of the L. Definitely takes a lot of practice. But I think if you practice that, just the pausing and the concentrating on whether it's a downstroke or an upstroke, that's a great way to improve. Oh, that's very sweet, Belinda. Yeah, it definitely took a long time to get to this point, as I've shown you all. I think I talked about that in my journaling evolution video. If you haven't seen that one, I encourage you to go back and watch it. Basically, I walked through all of my past journals and showed you when I first started compared to now, and definitely you can tell the difference in my hand lettering when I was just getting started and learning compared to now. And I certainly still have room for improvement, but okay. Bachelorette, I'm gonna say, try and do like a more bubbly lettering. There we go. So Bachelorette weekend for Michelle. Just kind of use these dashes, as you can see. I do that a lot in my hand lettering when the spacing is going to be awkward, because it just kind of tricks your eye into filling that space and making it not feel awkward. So that is definitely a tip to you. So here, if I didn't have those lines with Miss to Mrs., I think the two would be awkwardly too small compared to the two other words. But drawing out the line just makes everything feel equal. Okay. So let's think. I'll probably end up writing something in here, and maybe even, I don't know, it could be fun. I'd have to look through some of my stickers, but I'm sure I have some like fun stickers about friendship or things like that that could be cute to stick in here, just to fill in some of these gaps. Maybe I would want to use this and carry it. I'm kind of debating if I would want to put this as a full square, but just cutting out. I think I would. Let's see. We'll see how it looks. The nice thing about washi is if you don't like it, you can always just easily pick it up and take it off. But I'm gonna do that there, and then continue it in this space. And then again, at the bottom, So basically just continuing the square. I could have just left it going off the sides, which looked fine too. But I knew that this space would kind of be awkward to write in or do anything with, unless I was gonna like do a horizontal sticker. So this just is a nice way to fill in kind of that awkward gap. And then I can just write a little sticker here to, you know, have a quote or something about friendship. I do want to actually say something about like Ariel. What is this called? They call it Aerial Arts Training. And we did, oh, I was calling it wrong. It was Lyra, Lyra, Lyra. So we did the Ariel's, actually it wasn't even, technically I think this is not Ariel silk. The one that we did is the sling, which is basically like a hammock because it's a little bit easier than straight up silks because the silks don't have the bottom piece that you can like sit in or stand in. Instead, all of your weight is just in your arms. So definitely a harder thing to do. So if you're just starting out, they recommend trying the sling first. The sling is also kind of what they use if you ever do like aerial yoga. It's the same thing. So I'm gonna write just what we did there, the silk sling and the lyra. And I'll probably maybe say something about like our painting time there. So this is almost done, but I think it'd be fun to maybe move on to another section. And I think we'll probably do this one kind of up in this corner. And now that we have this idea of boxing it off, we'll try and do the same thing. So we went to the Adirondacks in February for a long weekend with friends to ice climb and also summit 2 of the 46er high peaks, which I'm really glad I just remembered that because I bought stickers last time we were in the Adirondacks to document all of the 46ers as we check them off, and I did not remember to pull them out. So I'm gonna have to do that. So we had some really lovely days. Thought this photo was so pretty of this frozen lake with the sun after we finished our 2 summits. And this is a picture of Ben walking across the frozen lake. Again, my printer acted up on me, but the nice thing is for this one, I can just cut it out. And then this is my photo that I'm most proud of. How stunning is this? This is a real snowflake, friends. I don't know if you've ever tried to zoom in on a snowflake and just like, or if you get snow where you live. Okay, Jean, sorry. Ben is home, so let me let her out of the room. Who's here? Who's here? Go get him. Ben is home late tonight, so Jean is in her protective mode of saying, "Hey, who's that?" But she'll go down and realize it's Ben. It's a friend. Anyways, so I was saying, I don't know, I've like experienced snow a lot, but I've never really taken the time to try and look at a snowflake super up close. And as I was standing there, kind of waiting to climb, and it was snowing, I was just looking closely at the snowflakes that had landed on my muff and realized that they were just like perfect snowflakes, and I could really see how intricate they are. You know, the whole thing about like no two snowflakes are the same, and we all make the paper snowflakes at Christmas time and we know what they look like, but I feel like we never really actually take the time to look at the actual snowflakes close up to realize how magical they are. So anyways, I was noticing that on my muff and got out this is just with my phone camera. It's really amazing how amazing the iPhone cameras are these days, and smartphones, and just did this macro photo of the snowflake. So I just think that is so amazing. So I think for this one, it might be best to just like cut it out rather than using the full photo, because it's really just the snowflake I want to focus on, not obviously the background of the muff. And it's funny with the macro shot, you can see like all the little fibers of the muff is basically this, if you've never used the muff, a place for you to put your hands to keep them warm between climbs. They're like popular for like winter weddings and stuff. Like people will have a muff, you know, a furry muff for their wedding photos. But we have this kind of running joke because all of the girls, so it's me, my best friend Emily, and our other friend Lauren, are the women who go on the trip and are, you know, the cool people ice climbing with all the guys. And we all have a muff to keep our hands warm because, you know, women's hands usually get colder more quickly than most men. But we're always kind of joking, like, you guys just act all tough and burly, but you all wish that you had a muff and could enjoy the warmth of getting to stick your hand in a nice, cozy muff. I know, doesn't that look like a sticker that I printed out or something? Not a real photo. I'll have to maybe, when I put this on the page, I will need to make a caption that says, like, this is a real photo of a real snowflake. I took this, or something like that. And then, of course, we have a photo of, I think this one is Ben on the wall ice climbing. And then this is just a funny photo of the trunk of the car, absolutely packed to the brim with all of our stuff. So those are all of the main photos from the Adirondacks. And, oh, you know what else I have though? Where did that go? I have a sticker that the people at this store let me have for free because I asked how much they were, and I think they were like $1, and she was like, "Oh, you can just have it." So I was like, okay, I won't argue with that. But now, of course, I can't find it on my desk. Where is it? Here it is. So it's this sticker that says "Climb or Die." I don't know, I just thought it was kind of fun, even though the phrase is kind of funny and maybe a little morbid. This, though, sticker, I'm kind of debating because this would be far more appropriate to use on this page, though maybe that's too morbid then. If you didn't watch my live stream last month for January, when we went ice climbing in the Catskills, we actually rescued a guy who had fallen and broken his leg and his arm. So this actually probably like makes a lot more sense for this page. And it sounds morbid, but also he was being very dumb in his life choices because he was free climbing without a rope and should not have been doing that. But we'll probably just use it over here. If at all. Actually, you know, I might just put this on a water bottle because it just doesn't flow with the rest of the vibe of the page, you know? We've got like happy thoughts over here and the pretty florals and Valentine's Day and celebrating somebody with love, and then climb or die. It's a little too much of a juxtaposition, I think. Now that I think about it. But this is the sticker that I got for free, and I think I'm gonna put it on my water bottle with all of my other climbing related stickers, and we'll just save it for that instead. So with that in mind, we'll just keep these as the things that are going to be used. I do want to use, though, this Winter Beauty sticker, and maybe also, maybe the snow. We'll cut them both out. And while I'm cutting out, I'll also cut out the Super Bowl Sunday sticker from the sample sheet, because we did have a little Super Bowl get together with friends, and we actually made wood-fired pizzas again like we did last year. So I guess maybe that's becoming a tradition. We'll see if it stays for year 3. But I do have this illustration from the Tiny Book of Tiny Pleasures that I've definitely shared with you all in the past. This is available on Amazon. It's linked in my Amazon storefront if you want to check it out, but has so many beautiful illustrations that are just fantastic for using in your journaling. All kinds of little phrases too. This is actually partially the inspiration for our bucket list that we've been making each month, because I liked this format of the checkbox and a little phrase to describe the illustration. So anyways, this is like $8 or less on Amazon. It is so worth it and great for using in your journaling. So I have this from there that I want to use. And then the romantic gesture, I think I'm actually going to use too, probably to talk about Valentine's Day. Ben, very sweetly, when I woke up on Valentine's Day, he had tied like 3 heart balloons in a path kind of leading to our notebook journal. You guys will love this. I think I've talked about this before on my channel, but Ben and I, my husband, we have this journal that we keep in our dining room. Our dining room is kind of like our landing spot where we just, I don't know, are just, you know how everybody has that zone in their house where everything ends up? That's our dining room. Anyways, so we have this journal that we keep in the dining room just on a shelf, and it's where we write like little notes to each other. So sometimes it's a note that's just like, hey, I made coffee, have a good day type of note. But other times we also use that notebook to write letters to each other for occasions like Valentine's Day or birthdays, rather than buying each other cards or, you know, frankly, like having to spend time making a card. It's just a nice way to be able to have a way of giving each other a nice note, acknowledging each other, and celebrating a birthday or an anniversary or a special occasion. And then having all of those messages saved in one place, because we just keep using the same journal and then flipping to a new page to write, you know, a note, and we always date the entries too. So it'll be like Valentine's Day 2025 and the note. And then, you know, if it's a day like that, then I'll write a note back for him to read. So just a suggestion. It's something that I think is like such a smart, frankly, like just like a fun and easy idea. It's very simple, but I think so many people would get a lot of value from if they thought to do it. That I've thought about making a video about it. I don't really know like how to call like what to call it. But and it would be a very simple, quick video because there's not much to say other than this is something you should try doing. Maybe I should make a short about it. I don't really like shorts, but yeah, anyways, that's what we do to celebrate. Instead of buying each other cards, we just have our little special notes journal. And so he, for his romantic gesture on Valentine's Day, just had some little balloons that I woke up to and then led me to the journal where he had written his note, which was very sweet. And then I made him dinner that night. So that was my gesture. All right, so we have our pizza too for Super Bowl Sunday, which we'll put those together. And then have our winter exploration experience. Oh, you guys do that too. I love that. Mandy does it. See, it's not that original of an idea. Mandy does it. Candace does it. That's a good idea, Janie. I should include it in a vlog. That's a really good idea. I could put it into a vlog of me writing a nice little note to him and then talk about the book. I know, Janie, you're eager for another vlog. I definitely want to film one. I want to film so many things. I'm so upset by how overwhelmed I've been feeling because I have so many ideas for videos for you guys, and I'm really excited to share them with you all. It's just finding the time to do it. And that's a good name for it, a Dear Honey book. I love that. So I'm going quiet for a moment because I am trying to find the stickers. Okay, I think I put them in this drawer. I just pulled out to make it easier to look through. Okay, we're throwing things again. See, at one point this was the alphabet stickers drawer, and then it became the like drawer that has things for road trips and travel. And then it became the drawer that is also for all the outdoorsy stickers, and this is just random in here. So I've got like fishing and birds, more alpha. But I thought because of the outdoorsy stuff that I also put, here they are. Haha, I was right. Here it is, the High Peaks sticker pack. So now we have to find the stickers on here, but look at all the fun things I have in here that I haven't looked at in so long. This is what I'm talking about, by the way, when I say for Happy Mail. I have so many things to share with others because just look at all this. So many beautiful papers and alphabets. Oh yeah, and this stuff, mountain equipment, North Conway. So this is all climbing. That would be good. to use. This is all rock climbing though. It's not really, like slack. It's a climbing term, like give me some slack, which means give me more rope, or belaying. So I could use some of these. That could be fun. Rappelling, approach. Yeah, I should take that out. Look at these fun patches. Anyways, all right. We could have too much fun looking through all this stuff. Oh, that's very sweet, Jeannie. And thank you, Belinda, too, for saying no pressure. Oh, I think this letter got stuck to my hand. That really does mean a lot because I definitely do feel pressure sometimes. And I know that a lot of times I'm putting that on myself and it's not actually coming from all of you. But I definitely feel kind of that pressure when it's been a while since my last video, that, oh, I need to get a video out. So, like, it's been a while, especially with my patrons who so kindly support me, so that they can have that content. But it means a lot that you're saying, hey, it's okay. So the two mountains that we climbed were Nye Mountain at elevation 3,895. And let's put this maybe like there. And then the other one we climbed, I just saw it, was called Street Mountain. I thought they were alphabetical. There it is, Street Mountain at 4,166 feet. I will say, of all of the mountains to climb in the Adirondacks, they're like the least possibly exciting ones. But we had a big group and it's winter, so it's much harder to climb the mountains in winter. So we kind of were limited in our choices of being able to, we wanted to get 2 done in one day too. And a lot of the mountains are further in, so you need to be like backpacking or something to get to them. So it was just a way to check off 2, even though they weren't the most exciting views, but it was still beautiful. I mean, it's always beautiful, especially in the winter. There's something so magical about being in the mountains in the winter. Truly, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. I don't really like this here. I think I'm gonna put it like, maybe I might layer this one. I'm gonna wait. I'll just sit it to the side for a second until I figure out my layout. So it could be like this. I feel like I can't figure out the orientation of this photo. I think it got cut off. I think this is right. I don't know, these, I'm struggling with orientation for these ones. Maybe something like that. But let's think about, where'd my washi go? And things are lost again. Oh, here it is. Guess where it was? On the floor. Hello, Nicola, joining in from London. So this is the same kit of washi, which by the way is from Amazon. Very affordable and truly very stunning, beautiful washi. Highly recommend. So this is one option that's just very simple, not like the prettiest of washis, but would go decently well with the pink florals while matching more of the vibe of these. And also, I guess that pattern kind of looks like rope. Oh, you know what else it looks like? It looks like snowshoes. And this was my first time ever snowshoeing. So that was super fun and cool. So maybe we'll use that one. This washi is this like blue floral, also could be nice. I think this one feels too March, yeah, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm leaning towards that one, but we'll see if there's another. So we could do, see that one's too thick, could be a blue. Blue polka dots. I'm not feeling it. I think I'm leaning towards this one. But I did want to look at, so I keep packets of stickers that are themed by the seasons that I just try and, you know, when something comes my way that feels more associated with a specific season, I will throw it in here. So I have some like Valentine's Day stickers in here. I have cards that I saved and thought would be pretty to use in a spread someday. Will I ever use them? Who knows, but they are here should I want to. I have some of my own stickers in here, lots of Christmas because this is the winter pack, old wrapping paper from Christmas presents, little pieces that were left over. But it's a great idea to have, you know, basically just an envelope or a Ziploc bag that you have one for every season, and then you can just chuck anything related to that season in it, and then when you're in that season, it's always a place to go to reference to see if you have any stickers that would make sense. And the reason I wanted to go in here is because I thought that I had a sticker related to snowshoeing, but I feel like I might be disappointed. There's skiing. That would be fun, but I didn't go skiing. I went snowshoeing. This is cute. This oh so cold. That would be cute as a like layered piece. Snow much fun. That could be cute. But alas, I am not seeing a snowshoe. It would just be too much to ask to have a perfect snowshoe sticker. But that's okay. We can use the Snow Much Fun. And maybe what we'll have to do is we're going to have to draw a snowshoe. All right, so we're gonna do our little border technique again. And I am gonna try to do it maybe a little bit more narrow just because I want to make sure that there's like a decent amount of room on this side where I will have space that isn't too awkward to do additional journaling in. So we're gonna have to think a little bit about how much room we're gonna need. All right, I think that should be good. Oops. I will say this is definitely a washi that is not the stickiest, which isn't a bad thing, but it may be one that you would want to reinforce with glue. But I mean, it's staying down okay. It's mostly just the corners. Thanks for hanging out with us, Belinda. Glad you got all your pictures done and some of your journaling. You can always catch the replay if you have to leave a little early. There we go. All right, now we have another cute little border. Actually, I was not certain about this washi, but I think it was a good choice because it really does have that feeling of snowshoes. Though I guess I'm thinking more traditional snowshoes with like the webbing. That's not actually what the ones we used looked like at all, but that's okay. It's the idea, right? So I kind of like this on belay or belaying. Did a fair amount of belaying, so could use this one. And I saw, Janie, you had asked how I got into climbing, and I feel like it's one of those things that, you know, you like look back and you're just like, huh, kind of just happened to me. But became a big part of my life in some ways. I mean, certainly not as big as some people's, but obviously I do it decently regularly, and it's mostly because I've always loved like traveling and like being in the mountains. Since I would say like being in college, my family wasn't really the most outdoorsy family, but I always loved being outside. But it wasn't until I was in college that I would say I really had the opportunity to travel and explore, you know, what that would look like and mean for me. And then in college, I also met my husband, Ben. We didn't go to the same college, but that was the time of life in which I happened to meet him. He was a few years older, so he was actually in grad school at the time. But he was the one who I would say climbed first because he always loved hiking his entire life. And his family, that was, you know, what they did for fun. So that was always a big part of his life and backpacking and all that. But it was through, I would say, his friend Scott, who is here in the photo, who majored in adventure education in college. And he is the one who, I would say, first invited Ben to go ice climbing and get into it. And then by dating and then marrying Ben, I got invited to try it. And it just became part of our life, and we enjoyed it and wanted to keep going. And I love just like the different places it lets me go. The experience of climbing itself is a lot of fun, assuming it's not negative 10 degrees out. I do love the, I guess, like the challenge of climbing and the physical exertion and just feeling really accomplished when you are basically pulling yourself up the side of a mountain and get to the top is a great feeling. But beyond that, for me, ice climbing is so special because it lets you go out into these remote places that most people wouldn't think to go to in that season. You would think, oh, that's like a place that you only go in the summer, like to see a waterfall, for example. But we get to go to those remote places and see them in the winter wonderland, Narnia, like snow magic that those places are. And we get to see the waterfalls completely frozen, or just sometimes it's just water that, you know, seeps off the side of a mountain or what have you. But it's just so special to see those places in the winter, and I love it. All right, so I think we will let's put this one down. A little bit seeping out the side. That's okay. So I feel like I need to use, maybe I could use this one here. A word that just says climbing. And then I could use en belay. I think extreme is probably a little drastic. It's not quite extreme, but maybe I'll use this and I'll say crew, like, because this is kind of the group that we go with regularly. So that would be a nice way And maybe actually what could be nice is, I've talked about this before, but sometimes it's nice to think about, you know, what would you want to remember in a few years? Or if somebody is looking at your journal after you're gone, right? And you want them to be able to understand what's happening, what would you need to put on the page? And a lot of times that's names of people, because you know who everybody is, but maybe somebody looking at your journal right later on doesn't know that. So this actually would be nice space to write the names of everybody. Alma, the easiest way to get your pictures to your computer, it kind of depends, I think, on your phone and what computer you have. So personally, I have an iPhone and a Mac, so they're both Apple products. So I airdrop my photos to my computer if I'm printing them on my computer. A lot of times I honestly just print directly from my phone though, because I'll put everything in the Pic Collage app, create a 4x6 or 5x7 photo, and then print everything out. But if you want to print from your computer, yeah, you could airdrop or you could email. Them to yourself, that could certainly work too. If you have a cord to connect your computer or your phone to your computer, you could just drag and drop the files from your phone to your computer that way. So definitely lots of options. It just kind of depends on what your systems are that you're using. So I'm going to do this as a left to right, kind of similar to if you're looking at a magazine and they're describing what's in the photo. They'll say left to right, like in order of appearance. Okay, trying to, it's a little hard because they're not in a perfect line. Let's see, that's Emily. And then her brother. And then it's me. I think I'm just gonna write me instead of my name. Hopefully whoever has this journal at this point knows who I am by the time they're looking at this page. Okay, so there we go. So it's just my left to right, the names of the people in the photo. So that's our climbing crew. My got glue like all over my fingers. Okay, so I might do this, but what I might do is just trim the bottom so that way they're all in a nice line, because that would be convenient. I really don't understand where or how like certain things end up where they are in this room in the process of me journaling. I swear this trimmer was almost on the other side of the room. Like you would have thought I threw it across the room, but somehow it ended up far away from where I needed to be. Okay. See if that does the trick. Like so. So I want these to be like in a nice line like this. I might trim this just to fit it a little bit better. There. And then I think I want to, I don't know if I'm going to use this on belay. I don't think I will. And then I think I want to write Adirondacks. And maybe then I'll have my like snowflake picture with my caption. So we'll put that down. If you have a USB cord that also has the end that works for your phone, and a USB works with your PC, then it should work. It kind of just depends on what your adapters are. Nice, glad you were able to finish, Penny. Congrats on getting another month done. That is so exciting. It's amazing how it just flies by, isn't it? Before you know it, we will be documenting December again, and you will be at the end of an entire year of monthly journaling. But never fear, we have a good amount of the year still left to go. But it is exciting that we'll have 2 months documented already and be able to see all of the wonderful memories that we've already made this year in 2025. All right, we just have this one. All right, now I know we're almost at time here because I do try to keep this to 2 hours, but I do want to just finish this section. And we're going to try to write out Adirondacks. Adiron. Another one of those words that you have to think, especially you're like writing it backwards. Okay, so I guess that's all I can write until I get my, I'll have to do the D again. It's popping up. Oh no, not the I. All right, we'll have to redo the I. Or I could just use a black pen maybe to fill it in. So now we'll do the second half of the word. Since we had to reuse the D, kind of had to stop at that point since we couldn't spell it out any further. Oh no, I think I'm just remembering which letter is missing from this kit. I'm pretty sure it's true. I knew I was missing a letter. And guess what it is? It's my letter. It's K. So we are going to have to just leave a space. And probably do our best to draw it in. Oh, I guess I don't need, I always call it the Adirondacks, but technically it's Adirondack Mountains. Try and do this I again. Could be worse. And I'm gonna try to use, we'll see how this works, but the R is kind of similar to a K. So I'm thinking if I just do like the bottom, and then I could draw in the top. Just to like guide me. Actually, that kind of worked. Am I crazy? I guess I can't do it because then it would be backwards. But I think that got me half of the way. And then I can just follow those lines. So let's see, all right, it's not terrible. It kind of looks like the stamp. I don't think as like a full word, it's noticeable that I drew in the K compared to the rest. So we will call it good. So we have the Adirondack Mountains, and then where'd my snowflake go? I lost it. There it is. So I think I'm gonna maybe I'll just put that there, to be decided if I feel the need to caption it or not, to say that it's a real snowflake and I took the photo, or if we just know for ourselves that that's the case. Great. So that is looking good. I'll probably put my books up in this corner just because that fits nicely. I'm thinking my movie night will go down here. I could put Winter Beauty there just to fill it in. And then we'll have our Super Bowl Sunday. Probably go there. The Eagles won, and obviously I live pretty close-ish to Philadelphia, and I'm not a big sports person anyhow, but my dad is a big Eagles fan, and it was fun to watch the game and cheer them on and see them win. So definitely we'll have to document that when talking about the Super Bowl, like a nice fly Eagles fly moment. So we have our movie, and then I have like a few other things on my list, like starting Bible study again, got my books on here. We got our house insulated, so I'm gonna put that on here somewhere. Our board meeting, working out regularly. I'm probably gonna use some of the goal getter stickers, maybe like this one, to talk about my workout routine. We watched The Night Agent season 2. We really enjoyed that show. So it was fun to have that season come back. So those are just like the few additional things that I'm going to document. But this really was a month of kind of 2 big kind of weekend time with friends hangouts. And so it was nice to organize the page that really revolving around these big moments. A lot of my entries, are just all the little things. This isn't a good example because it's when we went to Ecuador, so that was another big moment. May is a good example, right? It's just a bunch of little memories and little moments all over the page. But there are times when you might have a lot of photos and ideas and things that you want to document from a specific weekend or a trip. And in that case, I think doing this layout where you box off an area and dedicate it to that big event and do it again for another big event, right? That can be a really nice layout. And then everything here will just be the little additional fun things that you want to remember. So I hope you enjoyed this hangout and getting to see my process as I thought through how I wanted to document the big events from my February. And I really hope that you were able to get some journaling in as you joined me and document your own month of February. And I hope that you are going to have an amazing March. I again encourage you to print out the March bucket list, which is available now on Patreon, to encourage you to make the most of the month, make it a month to remember, and try and check off as many of these things as possible. You can even add your own. I have some printables over on Patreon for you to create your own little bucket list too if you have items that you want to do in March. So definitely go ahead and print this out. The biggest thank you to all of my patrons who make this possible. And thank you to everybody who is part of the monthly journaling club and taking part in this practice with me. It is so fun to do it in community. And when I finish this entry, as well as finish my January entry with the little bit I still have to do, I will post them in our group chat over on Patreon. And if you are not already in our group chat, I encourage you to become a free member and join us there and share your own entries too. It's so much fun. It really brings me so much joy to see the entries that you share over there and getting to see how you're using the stickers and the printables and just what is lighting up your life and making you want to document it. So thank you all for continuing to share with me over there. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. Definitely more regular videos to come, but we will gather again to document March, and that will be most likely, I'm just looking at my calendar, the first Thursday of the new month, which should be April 3rd. So I hope to see you all then. And until then, I will hang out with you over on Patreon and here on YouTube. So keep exploring your abiding creativity and document a life abiding in faith, hope, and love.